I thought I was fine. I was getting through the days, doing what I had to do, smiling when I needed to. But deep down, something felt off. So I decided to try something different. I gave myself 7 days to fix my mind, my body, and my soul. We hear it all the time. Take care of your mind, body, and soul. But no one really tells you how. Or what actually happens when you try. So I stopped overthinking. And I committed fully. No shortcuts, no excuses, just 7 days of intentional change. And what happened next, I didn't expect. I woke up one morning and realized I was falling apart. Not in some dramatic movie way where everything crashes down at once. More like a slow leak in a tire that you keep ignoring until you're basically driving on the rim. My back hurt from sitting at my desk like a question mark. My brain felt like it was buffering every time someone asked me a simple question. And my soul, well, I'm not even sure I still had one at that point. So I did what any reasonable person spiraling into existential dread would do. I decided to fix everything at once, all of it, mind, body, and soul. 30 days. How hard could it be? Spoiler alert. Very hard, but also kind of life-changing in ways I absolutely did not expect. Let me paint you a picture of where I was starting from. My daily routine consisted of waking up to my phone alarm that I'd already hit snooze on 3 times, scrolling through social media while still in bed, dragging myself to my computer, working while eating whatever required the least amount of effort, more scrolling, maybe some Netflix, and then lying awake at night wondering why I felt so empty. Rinse and repeat. I was the definition of going through the motions. The body part seemed like the obvious place to start. I'd been telling myself I'd get in shape for approximately 5 years. I had a gym membership that I paid for religiously and used about as often as I flossed, which is to say almost never. But this time was different. This time I was serious. I signed up for a program that promised to transform my body in 30 days. The before and after photos looked incredible. Surely I could do this. Day 1 of the fitness journey. I showed up at the gym at 6 in the morning because apparently that's when serious people work out. The trainer looked like he was carved out of granite and probably ate nails for breakfast. He took one look at me and I swear I saw pity in his eyes. We started with what he called a basic warm-up. I called it attempted murder, burpees, mountain climbers, something called a Turkish get-up that made me question everything I knew about my body's capabilities. 20 minutes in and I was seeing stars. Not the inspirational kind, the kind that means you might pass out, but I survived, barely. I limped back to my car feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. Every muscle screamed. Muscles I didn't even know I had were filing formal complaints. I couldn't lift my arms above my shoulders. Going downstairs became a tactical operation that required planning and handrails. I looked like a robot that needed oil. The mind part was next on my list. I'd heard about meditation from basically everyone. Joe Rogan talked about it. Tim Ferriss swore by it. Even my Aunt Karen, who still used a flip phone, had started meditating. If Aunt Karen could do it, surely I could. I downloaded 7 different meditation apps. Headspace, Calm, Insight Timer. I was ready to become enlightened. I sat down on my floor in what I thought was a meditation pose. Legs crossed, hands on knees, back straight. I closed my eyes and tried to clear my mind. The app told me to focus on my breath. Just breathe in and breathe out. Notice the sensations. Easy enough, right? Wrong. So incredibly wrong. Within 30 seconds, my brain was off to the races. I started thinking about my breathing, which made my breathing feel weird. Then I thought about how I was thinking about my breathing. Then I remembered I forgot to respond to an email. Then I wondered if I left the stove on. I didn't even use the stove that morning, but suddenly it was a pressing concern. Then my leg fell asleep. Then I got itchy. Everywhere. My nose, my ear, my foot. Places that had never itched before in my entire life suddenly demanded immediate attention. 10 minutes felt like 10 hours. When the meditation timer finally went off, I opened my eyes feeling more stressed than when I started. This was supposed to be relaxing. This was supposed to quiet my mind. Instead, my brain felt like a browser with 47 tabs open and all of them playing different music. But I didn't give up. I'm stubborn like that. Sometimes to my own detriment. The soul part was trickier. How do you even fix a soul? I wasn't religious. I hadn't been to church since I was forced to go as a kid. But I knew something was missing. That deeper sense of purpose and connection that makes life feel meaningful instead of just a series of tasks you complete until you die. Cheerful thoughts, I know. I decided to start with gratitude. I'd read somewhere that gratitude was the key to happiness. So I bought a fancy journal and committed to writing down 3 things I was grateful for every day. Day 1 I wrote, coffee, my bed, and Wi-Fi. Deep stuff. Really soul-nourishing content there, but I kept at it. By day 3 my body was in full rebellion mode. I could barely move. The trainer had no mercy. He kept saying things like pain is weakness leaving the body, and you're stronger than you think. I was pretty sure pain was just pain and I was actually as weak as I thought, possibly weaker. But something weird started happening. After the workouts, even though I was exhausted, I felt good, like really good. Endorphins are real, turns out. Who knew? The meditation was still a disaster. My mind refused to cooperate, but I started noticing things, like how much I was thinking all the time, constantly, non-stop. My brain never shut up. It was exhausting just realizing how exhausting my own thoughts were. The app kept telling me that noticing you're distracted and coming back to the breath was the practice. That the point wasn't to have 0 thoughts. It was to notice the thoughts and let them go. Revolutionary concept. Week 2 arrived and I was starting to see tiny changes. My body still hurt, but in a different way. Less like injury and more like I'd actually used my muscles for their intended purpose. I could do a full push-up. Just one, but a real one, not the kind where you barely bend your elbows and call it good. I was unreasonably proud of this single push-up. The meditation was getting slightly less torturous. I managed to sit for 15 minutes without wanting to throw my phone out the window. My mind still wandered constantly, but I was getting better at noticing when it happened. It was like training a puppy, a very disobedient puppy that wanted to think about everything except the present moment. The gratitude journal was evolving too. I started writing actual things instead of just random nouns. I was grateful for the sun coming through my window in the morning, for a conversation with a friend that made me laugh, for the fact that my body could move and get stronger even though I'd neglected it for years. The entries were getting longer, more specific, and weirdly I was actually feeling more grateful. Then week 3 hit and everything got harder. The workouts plateaued. Initial excitement wore off. My body adapted, which meant the trainer made everything more difficult. Heavier weights, more reps, longer sessions. The meditation felt boring. Sitting and breathing lost its novelty. The gratitude journal felt like a chore. This was the part where most people quit. I know because I'd quit at this exact point many times before, but I made a deal with myself. 30 days, no matter what, even if it sucked, even if I didn't want to, especially if I didn't want to. Because that was kind of the point. Doing things not because they were easy or fun, but because they mattered. Something shifted in week 4. I can't pinpoint exactly when, but I started noticing I felt different, not just physically, although I definitely looked better. My clothes fit differently. I had actual muscle definition in my arms. My posture improved because my core was stronger, but the mental and emotional changes were even more noticeable. My mind felt clearer, less cluttered. I could focus on tasks for longer without getting distracted. The constant anxiety that had been humming in the background like a refrigerator you stopped noticing was quieter. Not gone, but quieter, more manageable. I was sleeping better, falling asleep faster, waking up less groggy. The gratitude practice had rewired something in my brain. I started noticing good things automatically throughout the day, not in a toxic positivity way where you ignore real problems, but in a way where you acknowledge that even in the midst of difficulty, there are still small, beautiful moments worth appreciating. By day 30, I was a different person, not completely transformed into some enlightened fitness guru. I still had bad days. I still skipped workouts occasionally. My meditation practice was still messy, but I had built something, habits, practices, a foundation. The body part taught me that I was capable of way more than I gave myself credit for. That discomfort doesn't equal damage. That pushing past the initial resistance reveals strength you didn't know you had. I learned that taking care of my physical body wasn't vanity, it was respect. My body carries me through life. The least I could do was treat it well. The mind part showed me that my thoughts aren't facts, that I can observe my thinking without being controlled by it. That meditation isn't about achieving some blissed out state of emptiness. It's about building awareness, creating space between stimulus and response, learning to be present instead of constantly living in the past or future. The soul part was the most subtle but maybe the most important. The gratitude practice connected me to something bigger than myself. It helped me see my life as a gift rather than a burden. It reminded me that meaning isn't something you find. It's something you create through how you show up each day. Here's what nobody tells you about trying to fix your mind, body, and soul. It's not actually about fixing anything. You're not broken, you're just disconnected from your body, from the present moment, from what matters. The practices aren't repairs, they're reconnections. Also, it's really uncomfortable. Growth always is. You have to sit with the discomfort of being bad at something new, of feeling awkward and uncertain, of wanting to quit every single day. The voice in your head will give you a million reasons why you should stop, why it's not working, why you're wasting your time. You have to do it anyway. The physical changes were cool, I won't lie. Having visible abs for the first time in my adult life was pretty great, but the internal changes were what actually mattered. I felt more grounded, more capable, more like myself than I had in years, maybe ever. 3 months later, I'm still doing all three practices, not perfectly. Some days I crush the workout. Other days I do the bare minimum. Sometimes I meditate for 30 minutes, sometimes for 5. The gratitude journal has entries that are profound and entries that just say coffee again because some mornings that's all I've got. But I keep showing up. That's the real lesson. Consistency beats intensity. Small actions repeated over time create massive change. You don't need to overhaul your entire life in one dramatic gesture. You just need to do something. Anything, today, and then tomorrow, and the day after that. If you're reading this and feeling like you're falling apart, I get it. I was there. Maybe you're there right now. Here's my advice. Pick one thing, not three. One, maybe it's moving your body for 20 minutes. Maybe it's sitting quietly for 5. Maybe it's writing down one thing you're grateful for, just one thing. Do it tomorrow, see how you feel. Then do it again. You don't need to fix yourself. You just need to remember who you are underneath all the noise and neglect and numbness. That person is still there, waiting, ready. You just have to show up and do the work. The uncomfortable, unglamorous daily work of becoming who you're meant to be. So that's what happened when I tried fixing my mind, body, and soul. I didn't fix anything. I just started paying attention. And that made all the difference.